There you go. Now we got the sound. How's it going, guys? Just have to make sure that the microphone was working because software wasn't picking up. Good morning, good morning. How are ya? It's a damn chilly one out there, I'll tell you that much. Really, really cold today. And we got temperatures of minus 20s, minus 25s around there lately. And so Trump's in office, and so we got some big volatility that came into the markets. Yesterday, stock market was closed, but still the futures were moving. S&P futures made some nice moves. As you can see here on the 2-hour chart, we got a nice move to the upside right here. Okay, and then we got a move to the downside. A lot of you were wondering what was going on with these moves. The bottom line is, as I always tell students, thanks, Karosh. As I always tell students, oh, you can't really see it because my head. As I always tell students, what's going to happen is going to happen. When price moves quickly, it still follows the same path that it was going to go on, regardless of the news. It just sped it up. And as you can see, price entered into a supply zone. So selling came into play, which dropped price into a demand zone. And then buying came into play, okay? So this would have played out like this regardless of the news. It's just that when the news comes out, the moves become intensified, and it just follows the path that it would have taken just a lot quicker. Okay, so that's what I see happening with the S&P recently. We'll take a look at the Dow Jones and NASDAQ as well and see what those ones are doing. So let's just shrink me down. There we go. Good morning. Hi. Morning from South Africa. Nice to have you. So NASDAQ. Haven't updated the chart here on the 2-hour, but basically what we've got is price reacting from some demand down here, moving up to the upside, and now falling short of hitting some supply here on the daily time frame. So this is what we've got. We got supply here. That was once tested and brought price down to here. Now we're coming back up to hit that supply again. So before, because it was already tested before, there's a good chance that this will come and penetrate deeper and possibly even break through. Once it breaks through, we're going to have some supply a little bit higher up that it will need to work its way through as well. But so far, we've been seeing some buying. And if you remember what I was talking about last week, maybe it was, about the S&P, I was telling you that with regards to the S&P, we have an already tested area of demand coming into play. It was tested here, and it was coming back into that area. There was the ascending trend line that was right in line with that area of demand. So what we would need to wait for is to see new buying coming into play. And so that definitely is new buying coming into play, okay? Especially with the fact that price came up to test this descending trend line. Now remember, descending trend line, who's selling at descending trend lines? Regardless of context, who's selling at descending trend lines? Usually retail traders, right? Because their books tell you, draw a trend line. When it reaches the underside of the trend line, you sell, right? So as retail were selling here, banks were coming in and buying, okay? Banks are coming in and buying, going against their selling, and now it's pushing price to the upside. So we may get some kind of a move like that. But the bottom line, the most important thing that I want you to get out of this is that we were wanting to see buying taking place from down here. because it was very possible that price was just going to break to the downside and break through that already tested demand zone and break through the ascending trend line. There was a good chance of that. But the fact that the banks came in with renewed buying is a good sign, okay? Up to here and now breaking through this area. So obviously we have supply up above. That will be the next challenge for price to get up even higher. But I don't see any reason why it wouldn't do that, okay? Everything's looking good. We just got to wait and see if it wants to break up higher and let it play through the supply and demand dynamics on the lower time frame, which, as you can see, it's been doing. Let's take a look at the Dow. Here's one thing that I wanted to point out. So the Dow, if you look on the weekly time frame, you can see it came into some demand. Now it's rallying up. So we get that strong buying once again. Okay, strong buying from that area of demand, and now we're hitting a supply area. Okay, institutional selling area. So there's a good chance that we see a little bit of weakness come in here for the day. Good chance we see that, and then the headlines will be explaining why the Dow dropped so many points and all that stuff. Bottom line, if it drops, supply is in play, all right? Otherwise, if it removes supply and pushes price higher, then there's nothing stopping the Dow from making all-time highs, okay? This is the only roadblock from what I see. This is the only roadblock keeping price from going higher. Okay, but short term, I would suspect that we'll see some weakness on the Dow. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at with respect to the stocks and the indexes. There were some moves on Bitcoin as well. Pretty remarkable. I had an upside target of 110. I said most likely we're going to see a big reversal when 110 gets reached, and we saw a nice spike right up to that 110. Pretty remarkable how it went up there, right up to that 110, and then is reversing back down. Bottom line, this supply is still in play, so selling is going to be the main force here. So I would suspect that price is going to be dropping, just like when buying was the main force here, and here, and here, and here. We got price to move up. Okay, so supply in play now. I would not be surprised if we see some weakness, and then we'll see a move down towards this this area down here, likely, because it is in a range, and this is what happens when price is in a range. It moves up to supply, drops from supply, goes to demand, rallies from demand, and this is how things go. All right. I also saw some big movement here on USCAD. Nothing extraordinary. The only thing is that it contacted some supply. And when it contacts supply, price moves down. All right. So like I said, this was going to happen regardless of the news that came out. The only thing is that the news speeds up the process. So you can see the rally up into supply, the reaction downwards, and now we're just getting a pullback, and the price is going back to where it was prior to the big drop. So I see Dixie gapped down. Okay, so that moved down. Where is it moving down from? Again, supply. Price came in to hit supply. Now it's reacting to the downside. And all the headlines will say dollars dropping because of Trump and the Trump said, and it's supply and demand on the charts. Okay, this is institutional buying and selling by the big institutions. Okay, hence institutional selling and buying. This is where big money, okay, the banks, institutions who control price, this is where their selling orders are. This is where their buying orders are. When price gets up to their selling orders, they fill them. It causes a move to the downside. When price gets down to their selling order or buying orders, they fill them. Price moves to the upside. This is how it works. Okay. And as you can see, we get a move up in the euro, and then pauses, and then drops. Okay. I'm still short euro, and will continue to add as price goes higher. I'm not concerned about that because overall I see things moving even lower. All right. Okay, that's it. I'll let you go with that. I'll just mention that we are going to be starting a new class very shortly. I'm going to be releasing dates soon. If you always wanted to know how to interpret the CFTC data like a professional, like nobody else can, join the class. Now's the best time to be a student. Join, because we're going to be doing these classes for a long period of time. I don't know how long, but we're going to be doing a bunch of them, and they're going to be starting soon. And in these classes, we're going to dissect the latest CFTC data. We're going to dive deep into how I interpret the data to provide me with a forecast for where price is going to go. And as you can see throughout the years, the analysis we've done on currencies and the indexes and gold and silver and oil have been spot on. So if you want to know how I do it, now's the time to join our class and see how we do it. All right, folks, thank you very much. Always a pleasure. You take care of yourself, and we'll see you soon.